going to have a great show for you today. It's important, especially because of what's going on with the pharmaceutical companies, what's going on with the debt ceiling debate, etc., etc., etc. So we are going to have a good show for you today. We are still trying to get our equipment in here. Our GoFundMe fund drive is going on schedule. So we expect, I hope, to reach the point where I'm confident that I can go ahead and order those things up this weekend so that we can start getting our better throughputs, etc., etc., etc. Let me hear, folks, from you. How is the video? I made some adjustments to try to mitigate what we're going through with flow, etc., etc. So let me know that. Anyhow, title of the show today, another pharmaceutical thuggery with COVID drug pricing, Republican debt ceiling hostage attempt. So we're going to have a great show. But of course, who comes first? You do. But let me give a quick update. Everybody knows that I'm here in Washington, D.C. with my daughter who had a stroke. And guess what, folks? She got out of ICU at midnight. She is in between ICU and a regular room. She called crying yesterday at 4:30. I want to come home. I understand that. But you know what? My baby is going to be back 100%. It's going to take us some time to get it all done. But together we are going to do all of that. And I'll be right here helping out as we do. Not only that, I told her she's going to be a part of, when we get all this stuff going, she's going to have to do her part of politics and right for all you folks that are out here as well. Anyway, folks, let's get busy. Michael Rudnin, or let's start from the bottom to salute everybody. Rose Williams, welcome aboard. Yvette Avery Harrop. Yvette, because of certain circumstances, as you heard about my daughter, we're delaying our interviews, but you are going to be one of our first because you have a lot to tell. Bridge MCP, welcome aboard. AVQ, of course, E2247, Rose Williams. Thank you guys for being here. Egberto, I hope from Michael Rudnin. Egberto, I hope you've taken care of the audio video desync problems. Otherwise, it's a listening without a watch. Meantime, how's DC been treating you? I love DC. My wife and I, we're kind of just going from here to the hospital and back, We only get 4 hours with Ashley, so it is very, very tough. And now there's another COVID sort of apparently a few people got a little COVID stuff at the hospital, so only one of us can see her. Believe it or not. So right now my wife is with her. When my wife leaves over the weekend, I'll take care of seeing her. Anyway, Michael Run said, fossil fuel industry gets subsidies of 11 million a minute. IMF finds trillions of dollars a year or adding fuel to the fire of the climate crisis. Experts say if this isn't addressed to shift subsidies from fossil fuels to renewables, we have no chance of forestalling global warming. The IMF found the production and burning of coal, oil, and gas were subsidized by 5.9 trillion. I didn't realize it was that much, Mr. Rudnin. With not a single country pricing all its fuel sufficiently to reflect their full supply and environmental cost. Experts say the subsidies were adding fuel to the fire of the climate crisis at a time when rapid reductions of carbon emissions were urgently needed. Very good find. Another one from Michael Rudnin. There have been over 700,000 COVID deaths in the US. It's become a plague of the unvaccinated. Those who are unvaccinated were about 4.5 times more likely to contract the virus, more than 10 times more likely to be hospitalized with the virus, and 11 times more likely to die from the disease. This is with the previous CDC study based on data from over 43,000 COVID cases in Los Angeles County between May and July that found that unvaccinated people were 5 times more likely to contract COVID and 29 times more likely to be hospitalized with the virus. SNAP, another one from Rudnin. SNAP benefits increase and expanded eligibility effective October 1st. That increase in food stamp benefits is the first for the program since 1975. We're talking about an increase of $1 and a few pennies per day. Some 40 million Americans are struggling to put food on the table, now have the budget $6 per day for food instead of $5 per day. I can't believe people can eat on $5 a day. That is super, that is sad. Okay. Some 40 million Americans are struggling to put food on the table, now having to budget $6 a day for food instead of $5 a day. This still isn't nearly enough. USDA projects an average household of $36 per person per month because of this change, excluding additional funds that were part of the pandemic relief. All right, AVQ. Intermittent skip already. Guys, let me know how's the video going right now. E2247 says, I think PDR mission statement inspires and brims with goodwill. Worth reading. Is it first thing you see? HCPoliticsandright.com said, thank you, brother. Appreciate that. That said, Egberto in good faith displays willingness to risk speaking unpopular or inconvenient truth, both essential to effective leadership. May ears and minds to open to pot. Thank you. And ABQ says, Egberto, you're talking, but your theme is still playing. Clock on the screen. I want to see how bad the desync is. Whoa, that's interesting. I can't believe it. I thought I got that taken care of, but I'm trying. Woman claims she got from Bridge MCP. Woman claims she got charged for crying during mole removal. Sparks jokes about U.S. healthcare. Twitter user posted a bill showing she was charged for brief emotion, and the platform couldn't help but pile on with jokes. That's sad. Herod, welcome aboard. Rose Williams, welcome aboard. Let's see. Sarah B. Yes, G. Yes, great news so far. And I hope for it to continue. I beg for it to continue because she wants to come home so badly. Yes, no ICU. Awesome. Deb Denny, were you able to find my message about the judges? Deb, if I'm honest with you, I will have to tell you, I forgot to look. So what I'll do is, I tell you what, when you guys, please ping me. Again, I'm so sorry. Per is going up. Thank you very much, Avery. Yvette, thank you so kindly. Michael says, replying to Bridge, Egberto, can you put this on the screen? Let's see what's on. Oh, you know what? I don't have, because I don't have the real estate on the laptop, I can't get that on the screen. I hope with the 15-incher, I will be able to modulate it to get these things on the screen for you. Worst case scenario, I will try to find a way to import after I do a screenshot or something like that. So that's what I'll do, Rudden, but I can't do it right now. I wish I could. Bridge, Egberto Willis, tell her, like I said in email, sometimes a wall. Actually, Bridge, I'm glad you reminded me that because I wanted to tell you that. I told both my wife and Ashley that 2 days ago. I said, look at what Bridge says. This is so true. Sometimes walls are placed in front of you because of both to strengthen you and for a better good. So you're absolutely right. Michael Rudnan says, I'm going to share that in about an hour and a half. Okay, Jessica Taylor, good afternoon. Praying with you for healing. Thank you, my dear. Thank you so kindly. Let's see what else we got here. Daniel Edo, Egberto uses statistics to justify violation of rights. Wow. And Peggy Lopez, okay, $6 a day for good food stamps is still starvation. Yes, it is. And Peggy Lopez says, hi, Bridge MCP. Okay, go guys, how behind am I right now? Let me know how this is going, because what I want to do is figure out a different frame rate if necessary. So let's go ahead and figure that out. You guys are a great help for that. Anyway, let's get started. I want to talk to you guys about something that's very important. You saw over the weekend that Merck, hi Maywood, welcome aboard, sir. That Merck developed a new drug that helped 50% of people. It reduces hospitalization rates by 50%. This drug was helped in development by all of us, meaning we the people, you guys, right? So here's a story at Common Dreams. It says the following: entirely surprising. Merck slammed for 4,000% markup. 4,000% markup of taxpayer-funded COVID drug. Another example of big pharma reaping billions from public investment into research by charging extortion-type rip-off prices for life-saving COVID drugs. When will we learn? Why do we defend this? I don't know. I showed you guys an ad a few weeks ago where we had a woman, an older woman, that she knew that she was on insulin. She knew she couldn't afford insulin, but every month, people that can't afford insulin, they find some way to get that drug. They get money from their kids, they get money from the church, they get money from they find a way. So the drug companies know that they're ripping these people off and stealing the money from everybody else, right? But what else do the drug companies do? They know that we want to negotiate for the prices. They want us to negotiate for the prices. And that's what a part of the Build Back Better bill does. But the pharmaceuticals are smart. They're looking for an angle that tell people, don't listen to what the rest of the world is doing. If the pharmaceutical companies have to negotiate with Medicare for the price that you're going to pay for insulin or anything else, there just may be no insulin. There just may be no drugs. It's a lie. Because the vast majority of drugs, even the newer drugs, were developed by whom again? You, your tax dollars at universities, who eventually that technology migrates to the capitalist system, who then pilfers you. So, the story says, last week Merck announced to request emergency federal authorization for molnupiravir. I don't know how to say it, to Pravir, after a late-stage clinical trial showed that a 5-day course of the antiviral drug cut the risk of COVID-19 hospitalization of death in half in patients with mid to moderate cases. All right? The same day, Merck unveiled the results of the trial, and White House officials hailed the drug as another possible tool against COVID-19. The New York Times reported that the federal government has placed advance orders for 1.7 million courses of treatment at a price of, here it is, $700 per patient, far more than the estimated cost of manufacturing the drug. Hey, that is 5 pills for $700. According to the analysis, Melissa Barber of Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health and Zinrig Gotham of King's College Hospital in London, the cost of production for molnupiravir capsule is $1.74 or $17.74 per 5-day regimen, which is what you do, a 5-day regimen. But it gets worse. Adding an allowance for 10% profit margin and taxes in India, we arrive at an estimated sustainable generic price of $1.96 per capsule or $19.99 per 5-day regimen. Dean Baker, which you guys heard me interview, you watched the interviews that I've done with Dean Baker several times here on Politics Done Right, and I'm going to get him again to talk about this. Dean Baker, a senior economist at the Center for Economic and Policy Research, noted that the $712 price per course price the U.S. government is set to pay for molnupiravir amounts to a roughly $4,000% markup. Quartz analyst Meriali reported last week that with Merck expecting to produce 10 million courses of molnupiravir before the end of 2021, the company could bring in, ready for this? $7 billion. Remember what that is. They're taking money out of your pocket, that $7 billion money that you made, that you invested in with your tax dollars, so that the universities and the think tanks and the researchers who got grants could make this drug, and then they sock it to you. So you paid for it twice. You paid for it twice. I'm sorry about that. So I did a piece on insulin several months ago, or probably a year. I'm going to play it now, but before I play it, I want to salute more of you and read some of what you guys have to say so far. Welcome, Paul Fleming from ATL. let me get up to the top here a little bit and get some more of your messages, and then we'll get back. I want to, even though I'm here in DC with all this stuff, I want to make the program as close to what we do in Houston as possible. And by the way, you can help me do that by going to politicsandright.com/GoFundMe. I've raised quite a bit so far. I'm almost, I think we're about 1/3 of the way before we can go ahead and get the powerful laptop that should improve a lot of what we're going through right now. So please share the link. After you go to that politicsandright.com/GoFundMe, share it please so that other people can join the fold. Thank you for messaging again, Deb, Danny. I'll look at it. Bridge MCP says, oh, that's for another person. Michael Rudnan says, Egberto put a clock watch on the screen. We'll compare it with my computer's time and we'll tell you the desync. Okay, I'll do that. I can't do it right now, but I'll do it for tomorrow. Michael, yesterday a time of 2.5 minutes. That hurts. All right, let's see. I'm going to read that article about Merck price gouging and share it in 3 hours. Very good point. Union of Concerned Scientists webinar, Global Task, a discussion on the U.S. nuclear posture review from E2247. Maywood says, that was a reply to somebody else. Okay, White House is currently working on its nuclear posture. That's another subject. Medicare is the biggest buyer but cannot negotiate. What the hell? That's true. It's a shame. Puffin, socialized healthcare, which is something that I am for. I don't like to call it because people don't understand the real word. They've allowed it to be demonized. It just means we are all partaking of each of us take the risk together for our individual health care. Glad to hear recovery is happening. Yes, Bruce. Hey, by the way, Bruce, you should have received an email from Netroots. I hope you did receive that email from Netroots. If not, ping me after the show. E2247 says 5 things everyone should know about the nuclear posture review. Thank you, sir. Union Concerned Scientists is pushing for the NPR process to lead to major policy changes that make us all safer. True. Let's see what else. Get vaccinated. Vaccine is safe and fun. Bruce, nationalize the drug companies. I'm with you right there, Bruce. Let's see. Puffin, Trump killed my high school friend and high insulin prices. Puffin, I am so sorry to hear about your friend who died. Daniel Ledo says, Maywood, I have a right to refuse to be experimented on. Yes, you do. Do you have a right not to get sick? Yes, and the thing about it, I have the right to stay away from your infected self, my dear friend. Let's see what else we got here. ATL checking in. All right, I tell you what, I'm going to stop scrolling here and I'm going to play the video that I did several months ago, actually, maybe more than a year, about the insulin story. This is an important piece. Check it out. We'll take it on the other side, my brothers and my sisters. Our system is designed so that you will never be able to accumulate wealth, because as soon as you're making it, it's taken away from you. And this is how it works, my brothers and sisters. The meme that my brother sent me said this: Humalog insulin, released in 1996, remains unchanged since its release, but its price increased 1,700% or more since then, from $21 a vial to $275 a vial. An average 1 year supply, that's 36 vials, has gone from $750 to $13,500 with zero changes to insulin. Gouging Americans for a life or death drug has consequences, as noted at MedBedge today. One witness at the hearing, Paul Grant of Gloucester, Maine, described the process he went through to get insulin for his 13-year-old son, who has had type 1 diabetes for 4 years. Grant noted that his employer doesn't provide health insurance, so he is paying for it himself through the Affordable Care Act's insurance marketplace, which is very expensive and very complicated. With his high deductible plan, Grant spent $2,500 on diabetes supplies for his son in 2017. He had been paying $300 for a 90-day supply of Humalog. That seemed like a lot until this past January, when I called to refill my son's Humalog prescription. It was going from $300 to $900 for a 90-day supply. I kind of went into a panic mode. He said he bought a 30-day supply at Walmart for $322 with a coupon until he could
figure out a plan. Grant is now buying insulin from a Canadian pharmacy, which charges $295 for a 90-day supply, including shipping. For comparison, last week he looked up the price of a 90-day supply of Humalog at Express Scripts. It would cost him $1,500. Cory Booker, the guy everybody's loving right now as he's running as a Democrat, he voted to say Americans cannot go to Canada or any other country to bring the drugs in, even though they know the pharmaceuticals are terrorizing Americans with their pricing schemes. A recent survey found that 1 of 4 type 1 diabetics admitted to rationing insulin at least once due to cost in the past. Folks, this is what I call legalized murder. When there was no cost increase in product and you multiply the price 1,700%, and in the process people have to go without and die, that is legalized murder. If I voluntarily cause your death, it is at least involuntary manslaughter. That's what pharmaceuticals are doing to Americans every day for patents they don't even own. This is the part of the blog I really want you to understand. That was a story of insulin. That was a story of companies being able to price the market. Here is what I want you to hear now. It is easy to understand why the increasing price of drugs has life or death consequences in the immediacy. What is not immediately apparent is how this mechanism, this economic system by design is intended to rob you blind. Insulin is an old medicine, over 100 years old. There is no patent on it. Worse, as noted in the article above, it was virtually placed in the public domain. Therefore, it should be one of the cheapest drugs on the market. There is a virtual monopoly in companies selling the product. They determine the price. The private sector determines how much they will force you to pay for a drug you must have. Pricing of any product in our economic system is based on a corrosive concept known as whatever the market will bear. Whatever the market will bear. And what will the market bear? Here's the thing, folks. Understand the concept of what the market will bear. All of your income plus your total credit worthiness. How much you can borrow. That is what the market will bear. In other words, we won't allow you to accumulate wealth. We will take whatever we can from you because we have pricing power. Sadly, the reality is that corporations whose fiduciary responsibility is to their shareholders and their huge undeserved salaries will keep raising prices until people are simply unable to afford what they are selling. If it is something they must have, Americans will spend up to their limit to get it. And what is their limit? All of their income plus all the credit they can get. All of your money, you cannot accumulate wealth. That is what our economic system does to you right now. The tenets of the current economic system are predicated on this behavior that effectively prevents us from saving. It makes us entities that are nothing but conduits of our income. The regular people's income used to create the increasing wealth of a few, those who determine prices, the plutocrats. You don't own a factory. All those that own the means of production, the private sector, the corporatocracy, they determine what the market will bear, and the market will always bear your total income plus your credit worthiness. Remember that, folks. It's by design that you cannot accumulate wealth. Anytime you talk about those stockholders and the stockbrokers, that's not for you. That is for the 10 to 20%. Yes, some of you have a little shares here and a little share there. Those are peanuts. They're there to take your wealth away. If you doubt me, look at your own bank account. In the past, when we made taxes very high on income after $1 million, there was no incentive for the legal robbery of the American people through predatory pricing because the ill-gotten gains were recycled back to we the people via taxes. People always say, well, why have 90% tax rates on your income? Well, what it does is the reason that person in corporate America can make hundreds of thousands of dollars is they have pricing power. And they price their products higher than needed so that that money gets funneled right back to them. That high salary that they make is your money. Whenever a price goes up when the cost of the product doesn't, that is just a corporation saying, you know what? I want to make more money. I'm going to take it from you and give it to the shareholders. Remember, everything else stayed the same. Insulin didn't go up in price. They determined that they wanted more money for their shareholders and more profits for the executives. So what they did, they take the people who had zero pricing power power, and they took that money. Understand the concept of how this economy functions. It is designed, whatever the market will bear. Remember those words. As politicians on the take started reducing and eliminating taxes, the results are clear. Our colleges are more expensive than they should. Schools are underfunded. Our infrastructure is deteriorating. 80% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, but a few people get extremely wealthy, not on their worth or work, not on their worth, not on their work, but their manipulation of prices, the pricing power, the means of production in the private sector, the pricing power. When unregulated, the pricing power comes for your money. The pricing power takes your disposable income. The pricing power makes sure you cannot win. The pricing power means you will never, ever be able to develop wealth.
And you know, for people who said, oh, you are exaggerating, it's not quite that bad. We can prove it is not quite that bad. It is worse. Americans are in dire strait. But you know, it's funny because there's a poll that was just done, right? And they were asking Americans how they feel about what they're doing. And the poll actually said that I think it's either a plurality of, or a majority of Americans thought they were financially fine, you know? But when you look at the real numbers, it tells a different story, right? So what we have perfected in this country is the ability to put facades, to put lipstick on a pig, to do all these things that don't force Americans to do a deeper thinking, and in the process not realize that, wait a minute, I am not doing well after all. Let me give a classic example. You are a 60 or 65-year-old person, right? And you bought a home for $50,000 in the yay days, and the home is now worth $500,000. But you know, because of how tough things have been for most people, you didn't get a chance to put away at that nest egg that you really wanted to put away. You didn't do that. Not your fault, because again, things are so, you know, again, price and power, you don't have it. So now, but the one thing that you have is that asset that grew your home. And then what happens, right? You turn out and you get all these advertisements on TV that says, hey, you're not as poor. You're actually a wealthy person. You got a home. All your assets are in your home. And you know, in the early days, you know, you have kids. You think about passing whatever assets you accumulate to your kids. You used to have a few things in your bank account that you could do that, but not anymore. But you still have your home. And that is something tangible to pass on. Well, they are now encouraging you to do other things, and it works with a lot of people, right? I mean, don't you want to go to Cancun? Don't you want to go on a $10,000 vacation to the Middle East or to China or somewhere? And you know what? If you have $500,000 in your home and somebody offers you a reverse mortgage, you know, it doesn't look too bad. You're gonna take a little bit of that money out of your home and go have some fun. Not bad. But then you start getting used to that, and they're encouraging you to do all these things. It's like crack, giving you crack, right? And suddenly, by the time you are ready to die, and your relatives come across and they say, well, on this or Tia, this is going to have this home. It's going to pass down. It's going to increase the family's wealth. You find out that no, you owe the bank a lot of money to transfer that home. If you wanted to keep it in the family, you have to buy that home all over again. Reverse mortgage. You still own your home and you stay in the home until you die. So says those nice, the structures that are created in our economy to just zap you. This from student loans, not charging corporations to build schools anymore, to pay for tuition. In other words, we used to have corporations pay more taxes. They educate people. Those educated people come and work for corporations. So the corporations are getting a return on their investment for the educated. Now they're saying, no, Americans, you educate yourself for us. You come and work for us after you've educated yourself, and we'll profit off of your worth. But you know, they don't teach us to think that way. They teach us to think that somehow we are lifting ourselves up by the bootstrap when they never do. We lift them up, but we have not been taught to understand that. And in the process, that is why we are where we are. Going back to the channels here. Welcome ATL. Only 2 videos on CIA hit list. Let's see what else we got here. Convert military to rescue and green energy projects. No war. Cancel. Puffin says nationalize Facebook, arrest Zuckerberg. Kathy C. Courtney says shared. AI pure spotlight on such corporate controllers. Breach MCP says Paul Fleming. Yeah, it's off till new equipment. Puffin says let each country run their own Facebook. Make a UN style oversight too. Paul Fleming says the argument of Medicare for all makes no sense. I know what you mean. You mean that against it makes no sense. Cory Booker is bad. Let's see. Cory Booker is bad as Kristen Sinema. He's not as bad as Kristen Sinema, but he screwed up on that one. Let's just take it already. It's our medical system, not their casino. Thank you, Puffin. I like your spunk. Welcome aboard, Eric Hayes. Let's see. Looks like the Houston mayor's bad stuff will catch up with him in the investigation. Just may. Frederick Mills says we need to prioritize human life over private accumulation. That's the message of the day. You hear me talk about that all the time. Humanity over capital. Humanity over capital. That's the message of the day today. Puffin says grab, let's see. I'm not going to say that. All right, let's see what else we got here. AVQ, Puffin on this issue. Yeah, he was in 2018, but by 2019, Cory Booker changed heart and went with Bernie and progressives to reverse that stuff. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Let me check this here. What else we got here? All right. Mike Cisak, Breach MCP. The way Warden is right to refuse since we have an authoritarian in the White House who is pushing. Wow, it's amazing that you call Biden an authoritarian and you think Trump wasn't. Wow, amazing. Okay, I think Biden should arrest Trump. I think he's done enough to be arrested and tried, but you know, they won't do it. All right, let's continue here. Wow, a lot of messages here. Puffin, I'm done. Let's see what else we got here. Eric Hayes, the pricing power is being pushed by the government. Look, price. I mean, you know what is so funny, Eric? I explained the issue in the video. And you come back with that same type of message. What gives? I'm going to stop reading for a second and try to urge my right-wing brothers and sisters. Look, I've been proven wrong by conservatives before on certain issues that liberals believe in. And I was all too happy to be informed. And the reason why is, as a progressive, that is our mantra. We enjoy learning. We enjoy moving forward. And we're not always right. But we always want to do the right thing. Trying to hold on to your position. I'm going to show you sort of a pretzel stuff in another video. But anyway, Linda Jo Kessinger, thank you. Welcome aboard. Hey guys, Puffin. DeSantis, your ground, Florida, your governor is threatening your life. Yes, it is. Carl Cox, the neocons remove laws put into place because of the Great Depression to help the little guy and gal to aid the wealthy. The neocons want all the money in the world. Screw the little guy. Exactly. I agree with that wholeheartedly. But you know, they don't even, I think we may give them too much merit. They don't even think about the little guy. They just want to get as much as they can. May Wood says, I haven't had a chance to check out McConnell's offer, yet anyone know what it is? McConnell is saying, hey guys, I'll give you till December, but you got to give me a fixed number to raise that debt ceiling. It's a trap that who knows, the Democrats may fall into. I hope they don't. They need to go all or nothing, bust the filibuster and eliminate the debt ceiling altogether. That's what they need to do. Eric Hayes, are you ignoring reality again? Yes, he is. Mike Seaside, Maywood, people who say we'll take away everything of yours until you choose to do what you want are the type of dictators love. So why did you like Trump, if that's what you believe, Mike Cisak. All right, let's see what else we got here. Bridge MCP, Mike, it's the opposite. UGH want to snack ya in the back of. Okay, Bridge MCP. All right, let's see what else we got here. Puffin says, get a few billion to buy mansions, coal plants, convert them to biomass. I bet, you know what? That should be the deal they give Manchin. That should be the deal they give Manchin. Actually, that's a very smart statement there. All right, let's see what else I got here. Linda Joes is saluting Bridge. Reverse mortgage, just like maybe extending debt by raising the debt ceiling. No, again, debt from a sovereign nation with sovereign currency is not equivalent to credit card debt. I wish, again, one of the reasons the right wing really stunts people's ability to think, reason, and rationalize. But you know, the fact that many right-wingers are here with us speaks well to them, because it means that in as much as they listen to much on the right, they're willing to come here, and maybe something that we say will touch them. Let's see what else we got here before I go to the next video. Let's see. Puffin says, thank you, Egberto. I like your spunk too. Thank you for letting me speak. Most channels do ban me. Why would I ban? I try not to ban people. Our righties sometimes come in here and raise havoc. But again, that's America. We are all together. All right. Kathy Courtney says, some Congress reps who take the most campaign dollars from the big pharma make up less than 5% of Dems, waffling or opposing the wildly popular Build Back Better Act. Do you see the obvious corporate influence in our democracy? Absolutely so. E2247 says, best U.S. reps, Barbara Lee, Jamal Bauman, Brendan Boyle, Cory Bush, Veronica Escobar, Pramila Jayapal, Mondir Jones, Rokana, Andy Levin, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar. And look, people don't like Nancy Pelosi, but I am going to give Nancy Pelosi some kudos as well. I'm also going to give Brother Biden some kudos as well, because Biden has changed his tune completely. No, he's not a progressive like we are, but he's working with us. Nancy, so far, working with us as well. Let's see what else we got. Yes, but if Hobby Lobby can refuse to do things for gays, employees can make rules, and they did. You can't have it both ways. Corpse or people until exactamente, Bridge. Mike don't care about SCOTUS paid. Wow, you guys are filling me up with messages here. Let's see. Daniel Ledoux says, but if they voted the way you want, they would be impeachable hypocrites. No, they wouldn't be. You may want to impeach them for it. Pete, a caller to the Tom Hartman show had to buy Manchin idea. I just added biomass. I'm glad that you see that. I love Brother Hartman. He's been on our show several times, and I've been on his show several times. I guess some of us will have to lose our life that listen this program, or lose a family member to wake some of us up. Yeah, that's probably true. Rose Williams, I said this yesterday. Trump increased debt by $7.8 trillion. Now the bill is due. Correct. Paul, let's see what else we got here. And Trump also increased deficit by over $3 trillion. So that is so true. All right. Pelosi did everything possible to keep 45 from being impeached. Heck on her. E2247, explain that comment. I'm not sure. But anyhow, here is the deal I want to show you guys. This is the next thing I want to bring up. Yesterday, I was watching one of the shows. And Mitch McConnell goes on and he sounds all like he's serious about doing things, right? And he's serious that he's just letting the Democrats do the things if they would just do the debt ceiling. He's not going to interfere. Check this out and then we'll take it on the other side. Because here's what happens. McConnell thinks we are stupid. McConnell thinks by telling Americans Democrats are in control and we're not going to obstruct them from increasing the debt if they want to, that somehow we don't understand there's something called a filibuster that they can block all these bills. Check this out, and then we'll take it on the other side. Here we go.
Stuart, I want to play for you a bit of what Mitch McConnell had to say today. He was up in his office where he works only by gaslight, came down and said this to reporters.
I implore them one more time not to play Russian roulette with the American economy. We've been down this path before when you did not have divided government, and the party and the majority got the job done.
Stuart, I am tempted to ask, does he think we're stupid? What's going on here?
Well, the answer to that is yes, he does think you're stupid. Look, the American debt have gone up more under Mitch McConnell as majority leader than any other majority leader in history. If he's really worried about debt, let's start with Kentucky, right? 40% of the Kentucky's budget comes from federal government. 40%. There's only 4 other states that have more dependence on the federal government. So he wants to end debt. Okay, fine. Let's just cut out giving all this money to Kentucky. I mean, it's just an absolute farce that it's about power and the manipulation of power for power's sake. I think David is right. I think that we have a governing president now, and they will get through this. But look, Mitch McConnell is someone who has said on the record he would vote for Donald Trump in 2024. This is after he had instigated a riot that sent domestic terrorists into the Capitol and had Mitch McConnell running for his own life. I mean, doesn't that say everything you need to know about what Mitch McConnell cares about America?
And he's right. That says it all. He doesn't care about America. But you know, the funniest part, I mean, in as much as this was about the debt ceiling, in as much as this is about the hypocrisy, because remember, when Republicans were in full control, he said, we took care of the debt ceiling. Yes, with a whole lot of Democratic votes. Remember that, with a lot of Democratic votes is how you were able to have the debt ceiling. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. A lot of the debt that we have should be placed on McConnell. 40% of the budget, 40% of the money that goes into Kentucky, where he is the senator from, comes from the federal government. What hypocrisy. And what I don't understand is why Democrats don't hammer that. Every time they talk to McConnell, you shouldn't be against the deficit or anything like that, McConnell, because we give your state so much money. Your state is a debtor state. Your state keeps borrowing money from the federal government or taking more from the federal government that it puts in. And the states, the blue states that you abhor, California, New York, and all these other states put a lot more money in than you do. And they're actually putting enough money to pay you. So be careful. But Democrats don't fight hard enough. They don't point these things out enough. Oh, it's 43 and I forgot to make my ask. So let me go ahead and make my ask right now. Folks, please, if you are just joining us, please consider becoming a part of our PDR posse. Or first of all, you notice we're all off. The scans are off. The sync is off. It's a computer issue because we don't have the right kind of power computer. So what I did is since I'm going to be in DC, I created I mapped out a mini studio with equipment that should do the job and get the job done right. But again, I'm here in DC, my studio is in Houston, and I can't bring all that big equipment in Houston. So I said, let me get an efficiently priced mini studio that not only will we use here in DC, but after I get my daughter over the hump, I will use it as we travel remotely. And so your investment in that laptop and those lights has staying power for things that we intend to do in the future as COVID is mitigated like we used to do before at the different conferences, etc. So please consider going to politicsdoneright.com/GoFundMe, politicsdoneright.com/GoFundMe, and support that it's a small mini studio that we can carry around. It's actually about 60% of the studio, because a lot of this other stuff that I have here, we can continue to use, and we'll find a way how to integrate them all. Now, there are other ways that you can support us. You can support us by becoming a part of our posse, our YouTube posse member. And to do that, you just go to politicsdoneright.com/YouTube, politicsdoneright.com/YouTube. We need 1,000 people there. We're 310, 308, somewhere around there. We also want you to join our Patreon. It's a PDR posse as well, but under a different domain. Patreon. It is at Patreon. You become a patron of ours. Go to politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. Politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. Patreon is spelled Patreon. Patreon. Alternatively, you can also support us via the olden days, PayPal, either one time, or if you want to do it on a monthly basis, please consider doing that as well. Now you can also find all the different methods of supporting us by simply going to politicsdoneright.com/support, politicsdoneright.com/support. Now again, if you want to support the GoFundMe for the laptop, the 2 lights, the mic, that is politicsdoneright.com/GoFundMe. I'm going to have a space on the website where we put all our donors who want to be there. Some people are anonymous. Those that are not anonymous, we're going to put it on the screen along with all of you who go to our GoFundMe will get, once you send me an email, you'll be subscribed to receive an e-copy, not an e-copy, you'll subscribe to read all my books online, not only the 4 current books that I have, but any books that I have subsequently, you will have access to those books as well. I mean, it's a token to tell you thank you for supporting Politics Done Right, to be able to do what we have to do, what I need to do right here in Washington, D.C., to take care of my daughter as she recovers from her second stroke in less than 2 years, but we hope the last one, based on what they believe is the reason for the stroke. All right, let's see what else I got. So please consider supporting us, politicsandright.com/GoFundMe, or one of the other methods that I placed out there. All right, let's see what else we have here that I missed. Paul Clement says, Brigem CV, Egberto Willis Hartman's column on Egberto Willis Hartman's column on Native American was great, except the Celts did not take away people's culture or language; they added to it. Give and take. I got to read it. Tom gives me authorization to post all of his pieces on my website. I posted that one without reading it today. Usually I read them before I post it. I didn't read, but it was an excellent article from what everybody has posted at his site. Paul Fleming says, Bush gave $1.9 billion in tax cuts to the rich. Bush also started a 20-year war that cost us $8 billion. Trump gave $1.5 billion to the rich. I didn't hear any Republican voters cry about that. When the Democrats speak about helping American people, $3.5 billion, you lose their mind. And it's funny because they also just passed, I think it was a $7 trillion military budget. Nobody said, hey, $7 trillion to blow stuff up. Nobody complained. Not even Democrats complained. But now we have Republicans and 2 Democrats complaining about, well, actually more like 6 Democrats complaining about $3.5 trillion. Amazing. All right, yes, if the rep vote no on the bill, then sorry, let them constituents pay the price. Maybe they will realize what the heck is happening and vote their self-interest. I hope so. War is Absolute, agreed. Try my books, The Art of Betrayal by God, and the sequel, The Book of Judas to End War on Capitalism and Racism. Puffin, you wrote a book. Okay, if you have links to the book, go ahead and email me the stuff, and I'll also put it on my books. I mean, like, remember what I said about all of us that form the posse, right? I have a platform, I have websites, that's all over the place as well. You have books that you want to get out there and get people to, as long as it's books that's doing positive stuff, you send it to me, and I'll also go ahead and cross-link to your books. So that is how this stuff has to work. We all have to be each other's agents, if you will. Let's see what else we got here. I'm glad you made it, Rose. Out of curiosity, what kind of computer are you currently using? I am using an older model of the Microsoft book. It's a Surface book. I love this platform. The Surface has been excellent. Before they modified the Wirecast software to be more CPU intensive, this one that I have, the latest one, was fine. But now with the change, we are going to need a more powerful GPU and CPU. Let's see, Papa says, I hope your daughter is recovering well, Egberto. So far, so good. Let's keep our fingers crossed to make sure that continues. Rose Williams was he treated with the IVM and other known treatments that work? If not, then his death is on the political left for making that work hard to get. The so-called liberal news media won't talk about the injustice being done to the non-mega rich American people. Moderate Democrats worry more about special. Well, and and that's why I'm so proud of the Progressive Caucus, right? Because what they would always tell you is, look, we've agreed on this bipartisan bill, and it's going to help a lot of middle-class progressives. But the middle-class progressives always ask the poor, always ask the lower middle class, help us win, and all of us will win together. And then when the bills pass, they are truncated in such a manner that they leave the poor, they leave the lower middle class behind. So I'm glad that they stood up this time, and I'm glad that we're intending to win more. Americans like security and war more than anything insecure. Puffin says, thank you, Egberto. Yes, very positive. So send it out. My word is gold. If I say I'm going to do it, brother, I will. All right, Mike Cisak Maywood. That's not for me. Let's see what else we have here. Egberto went through your link and GoFundMe work. Thank you very much, Peggy. Muchísimas gracias. Kathy Courtney says, sorry about your daughter and stroke sick. I will send personal check to your P.O. box with USPO. Thank you so kindly, my friend. Let's see. Will USPO and dollar forward you to DC? No, actually, no. What I tell you what I'll do, Kathy. What I'll do is I'll give you the address in DC. I'll give you the address in DC. Let's see what else we have here. Rose says the 3.5 trillion will be paid for, unlike most Republican debt. Very true. Let me see. Oh, you know what, guys? The last video, I am running out of time, so I'm going to have to do it tomorrow. But I think you're going to prefer it tomorrow because that means I can pre-queue it, the video, and work on it tonight. Although I have to also work on the KPFT 90.1 FM show tonight, because on Thursdays we do two shows, KPFT 90.1 FM and Politics Done Right on the internet. So I'm going to have a busy time after picking up my wife from seeing my daughter. Let's see what else. The Surface is rather underpowered. The new Surface, the Surface 3 that I'm doing is actually take a look at it. Take a look at it. Take a look at it, Maywood, for the 3. Okay, later address to my email, not public here. Yeah, I'll send it to your email. Yes, investment, not hoarding. Good point. Absolutely so. Anyway, let me. Tom C, great. We're all doing it. Okay, let me just made it go for. Oh, thank you so kindly, brother Tom C. Great show, Egberto. Everyone's making better comments than I could make today. Tom C, you always have great comments, and I am going to try to better integrate some of my more regulars into helping me with the show. Now that I'm going to have a lot to do, I haven't yet figured it out. You gave me some good advice, Tom C. I still am so under doing so much that I have to kind of come up with something to see how best many of you can, integrate a little bit better into the program. But let me go ahead and get into a little bit of my soliloquy here. First of all, I want to give all of you a humongous thank you for sticking with me after me being out for the whole week last week to get my daughter together. I thank you. Because the internet is a very fleeting thing, right? People, they like something, it goes away for a while, and to hell with it, they're gone forever. Thank you for being here. I am very appreciative. Thank you also for sharing. Thank you for coming. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you for the private messages you sent me. Because I am hurting like I have never hurt before. The second time this has happened with my daughter. And I know this is something that millions of Americans are going through. Millions of Americans are going through. And what we have learned to do in America is suffer in silence. And I said, no. We all need to let everybody know that we all go through the same things. It takes the edge off of it. You still cry, right? But it takes the edge off. It takes the edge off. And when my daughter was there and not talking, the head exploding and the swelling increasing, and I really don't know. They talk about maybe having to crack her skull open for it to expand. And I'm sitting down there saying, I am losing my baby. And many of you keep, Egberto, how's she doing? And I'm like, it's getting rough. And some of you saying it's going to get better. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. And so far, I mean, it still could go south. But so far, it's getting better. It's getting better. She's looking great comparatively. She's getting better. And I will be here helping her continue getting better. And I'll be here doing Politics Done Right. And I'll be here pointing out the problems and the issues within our healthcare system, because she has seen it over the last 20 months that she's been going through this ordeal. And millions of Americans go through this, and we can change that. And we can be that small part as we educate each other and spread the word in our individual spheres of influence. Because each one of you, we come together here at Politics Done Right, the PDR Posse. And by the way, join the PDR Posse, folks. Go to politicsdoneright.com/YouTube and politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. Join that posse, guys. But we are one sphere of influence, our posse here. But each of you individually have your own sphere. We are intersecting spheres. And if you study a little bit of math, right? What you see is geometric progression means if all of us reach our spheres, we can make change. I got to get out of here, but I want to read the last few things real quick. Let's see. Rose Williams says, we are all hoping for Ashley. Sending good thoughts your way. Thank you so kindly, my beautiful Rose. Bridge MCP, Ashley got this. She is too stubborn not to. Bridge MCP, you know my baby. Puffin, love you, Egberto. Thank you, and keep hope alive. You give me much hope today. You all, look at me going to the screen. You see I'm doing that stuff to the screen? Going to the screen? You all give me much hope. Peggy Lopez, my baby was 49 when she had a stroke. What dreadful time that was, and I thought he was too young to have a stroke. I'm glad you have found a way to be with your daughter through this time. Yes, I am so happy myself. Thanks, Rose and Bridge. Thank you all. I got to get out of here. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out! We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.